How we doing, everybody, and welcome to Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. I'm your host, Trage. It is Thursday. We're getting closer to the weekend here. It is a great week so far. Better now that we're seeing some Wisconsin teams start to win again. That's always a good sign during the week. But Austin is with me today. Rogan is out. We're gonna have a special guest joining us later in the episode. But Austin, how we doing on this Thursday?
Yeah, Trey, we're doing pretty good. Weeks going by pretty good, being productive, which is a good thing. Usually I'm not very productive, but this week seems a little bit different. But Trage, I know you were going to mention this, but some stuff happened yesterday that is kind of a little eye opening, I'd say. And you were going to mention about the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl rally party or their parade there, and there was obviously a shooting that went on, and we're not a political we're not a political podcast by whatsoever, and we're not going to get into that. But hearts go out to those in Kansas City. You know, Kansas City gets a lot of hate for how good their football team is and all that stuff, but when it comes to stuff like this, definitely do not want to be hating on no one or any sorts like that. So definitely hearts and feelings go out to those affected by that happened yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Prayers to the families of everything and everything that happened. It started out, you were on social media. If you're on social media, you're watching videos from the parade, and it looked like it was a great time. You watched all these guys having a great time out there, and just to see how tragically and how fast it could change into something like this. That it really, like you said, we're not a political. We're not going to get into politics with this. We're not going to jump on any train out of there, but it definitely opens up your eyes to realize, something as simple as a parade. This is a parade. I don't care if you hate the Chiefs. I don't care any of that. I don't. This is a parade. This is moms and kids and everyone else in between going to celebrate a Super Bowl win. That's all it is. It's a sport. It's a sport at the end of it. Yes, we get hostile on this podcast. We do. But it's a sport. And nobody knows, truthfully, what the motives of these guys. There's two of them. Apparently, they were both apprehended, and hats off to the Chiefs fans that actually I watched the video there yesterday of the Chiefs fans that actually tackled one of the suspects in question there and actually took him to the ground and were able to get law enforcement over there to take care of him then. But hats off to them for taking care of that. That's a true hero right there. But, just 15 injured and one tragically passed away in that shooting. That's where we are. That's where we are right now. And for something to happen like that, it's a parade. A parade out of all places. It's baffling. It really is. And, I got to say it is honestly the way that everything's going right now. But you look at the amount of fights that break out, brawls that break out at football games, basketball games now, everything like that. It's ridiculous. It really is. You go to these games and you're there to have a good time. I don't like Cub fans. I truthfully don't like Cub fans. I don't like, I hate Duke. I hate Kansas. But I'm not going to physically try and harm somebody just because they like that opposing team. I will talk crap. I will talk crap to them because they like the Cubs or they like Duke. I'll talk crap, but I'm not going to have it extend to that point. It's really a tragedy. What this was, it doesn't even magnify to what happened in Kansas City yesterday, but in all of sports right now, there is a problem with it. We have to wait. We have to wait and see what if they talk to these guys and if anything gets released, what the motives were of these two suspects in this shooting. But I can only imagine. What we're going to hear out of that, and just terrible. It's just terrible. It really is. End of the day, just terrible, and sucks to have to start out a day. It happened yesterday, but sucks to have to start out a day with such tragic news. It really is. It really is. You don't want to. You don't want to. We're on here. We want to have fun, but it really is tragic. And we just wanted to say to the families and everything out there, and if anybody knows of anybody that was harmed in there, prayers to all of you. And hopefully everything, all these injured people recover and everything is okay with them. And I mean, that's all we can hope for right there. So tragic news out of Kansas City yesterday. But with that, we want to move on here. We got to move on. We got to get into some Wisconsin sports for the day here. Bucks, well, they beat the Nuggets on Monday, but that was about that. They took the loss there to the Miami Heat, kind of flipped the script game from Monday there. The Bucks were only able to muster up 97 points this time. And I mean, Austin, looking at that game there, the Bucks, they were out of it from the get-go. 40 points by Miami in the first quarter there, 29 in that second quarter, and then from there on, it was just over for the Bucks. They could never get back into this game in the score column. So, Austin, what do we see in this game stat-wise that led to the Bucks? I mean, 97 points. That is low. I mean, that's crazy that you could say that's low for an NBA basketball game, but that was low for a basketball game.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, well, Brook Lopez, 23 minutes, only 7 points there, and Jay Crowder still starting. And like I said yesterday, because Middleton's out, but only 2 points from him, 18 minutes, which is less than half a game there, but only 2 points from him there. And then, I mean, Damian Lillard scoring 16. I feel like for an average player, that's not bad, but from what we think from Damian Lillard's standpoint is usually he's averaging like 20-something, I feel like. And that's kind of low for him. Giannis had 23 and 11 rebounds. That's not bad, but Lillard with 16 points. It's not bad, but definitely is not good from what we were expecting to get out of Damian Lillard. I thought Beasley had a pretty decent game here. 4 from 8 from the 3-point mark there, 16 points. I feel like that's a pretty good game from him. Overall, our team just wasn't able to muster up enough points here in this one. And, I mean, our defense was playing good, like I said yesterday. But in this one, it just seemed like they weren't at all. You look at here, Duncan Robinson, 6 for 8 from the 3-point line, 23 points. What is this guy? Nikola Jovic. There, he's I think he's a rookie. There, this is his first season. He had 24 points. Tyler Hero had 19 points, and Bam Adebayo had 16 points. Off the bench, Jaime Jaquez Jr. had 12, but Kevin Love also had 19. This is a Heat team without Jimmy Butler, Trage. And they're putting these numbers up against us. Not very good when it comes to looking at how we're playing there. Bobby Portis off the bench had 16. At that point, you might as well just start Bobby Portis over Jay Crowder. Like, if he's going to be scoring more points and playing more minutes, what's the point in Jay Crowder being out there? Exactly. At that point, like, I get that you might want Bobby Portis to come off the bench as a spark, but I mean, you might as well just throw him off. Might as well just start him at that point if he's going to be scoring more points. And I guess it doesn't really matter because when it comes down to if you come off the bench or start, whatever the number of minutes you're getting and whatever you're producing, it's going to be the same. So I guess it doesn't really matter in that aspect, but still, it just looks so poor when one of our starters has 2 points. Beauchamp had 8 points in only 8 minutes there, so I thought that was pretty productive out of him there. And Pat Bev, only 3 points, only 13 minutes, though. Pat Connaughton, 24 minutes and 0 points. I think that just speaks volume to don't know what's going on with Pat Connaughton. Pat Connaughton used to be a really good player. Don't get me wrong. He used to be a really good, solid bench guy. He even started a few games, but now his career's kind of taken a turn for the worst. Not the best bench player there. So overall, disappointing. But I think that what we need to be concerned about here is this Miami Heat team came into Milwaukee. Also, it was at the Pfizer and just kind of swept the floor with us without Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, 100%. And looking at the free throw line, how does Damian Lillard get to the free throw line 4 times, but Giannis and Brook Lopez don't go to the free throw line? You're big guys. How do they not touch the free throw line in that game? Even a guy like Jay Crowder. That's a problem. That's a problem if you are the Bucks. Brook Lopez, 7 points, in 23 minutes. He's supposed to be one of your core guys. 7 points, 1 for 6 from downtown, and 3 for 9 from the floor in the game. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad news right there. I don't know. Look at, like you said, Pat Connaughton, 24 minutes, nothing. You give me nothing in the score column in 24 minutes. 6 rebounds. You got me 6 rebounds. Fantastic. I can get 6 rebounds out of any one of these guys if they try hard enough. I can get 6 rebounds. How many guys in the NBA really box out nowadays? Not many. Not many. They're looking to just jump, catch it, and shoot again. That's what really, when you look at this game here. I mean, I look at the Bucks and I say, okay, Bieshkamp, 8 minutes, 8 points. He showed you he can score. You know that Jovic guy that you were talking about there from the Heat? The Bucks took Bieshkamp before Jovic went in the draft. They took Bieshkamp over him. And now he's doing this with the Miami Heat. Is that on Horst then? Is Horst not drafting well? Because right now, why is Bieshkamp not playing? If he was one of your untouchables at the trade deadline, why is he not playing right now? And even a guy like Ajax, 8 minutes, he had no points in there. He was 0 for 1 from the floor, shot 1-3. That was it in the game. Ajax, he was untouchable at the trade deadline. Why is he not playing? You look at this Bucks team and you say, well, why are we giving minutes to Pat Connaughton? 24 minutes, 0 points. It's the NBA. If Pat Connaughton was a stellar defender like Pat Bev, you give him 15 minutes. Pat Bev got 13 minutes in that game. He didn't. He got me 3 points in 13 minutes. I don't expect more out of Pat Bev coming off the bench there. He's a defensive guy. That's Pat Bev for you. But looking down the line here, then where's your scoring going to come from? It's not in Pat Connaughton. I don't care how many games Doc Rivers throws him out there. There is no offense left in Pat. I'm telling you that right now. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't look like he's looking to shoot, and he doesn't get me buckets. That's a guy, that's a spot that I need buckets, and he can't get it for me. That's a problem. So why is Pat Connaughton taking minutes then from Ajax, from even a guy like AJ Green, from a guy like Bieshkamp? Right now, people laugh at Thanasis. Right now, you could vouch for Thanasis to get playing time off this bench. You could. Because you look at the rest of these guys' minutes right now and their scoring output, you cannot tell me, and this is, bold take. You guys probably say, what the heck's he talking about? But Pat Connaughton's getting minutes. He's not scoring for you. What's the difference? I can throw Thanasis out there for 24 minutes, and he scored 2 points in 8 minutes, and Pat Connaughton couldn't get me anything in 24. Yes, probably some garbage time for Thanasis at the end there when they threw him in, but end of the day, we talked about it. It was going to be a problem. No bench play. We could add in the starting rotation, but you had to get some bench play. You had to find scoring. We found the defense in Pat Bev, but you had to find scoring. Now, Middleton is out. I'll give him that. Middleton's out. When Middleton was back, there was still a problem. There was still a scoring and a defensive problem for the Bucks. Now the defense is fine. The defense, 123, that's actually pretty good, holding a team to 123. 123, 114 in that range, that's not bad for a defensive output in the NBA right now, because there's games that are 150, 140 at this point in the NBA. So offense is a premium. Defense ain't really there. So when I look at the Bucks right now, I say, where's my scoring going to come from? You have to find it, but you got to give guys minutes to find it. I think Bieshkamp can score, but you got to give him the minutes to do it. And he's getting 8 minutes a game right now, 2 for 4 from the floor in this one, 3 for 4 from the line. He got to the free throw line. In 8 minutes, he got to the free throw line more than Brook Lopez, Giannis, Beasley, and Jay Crowder. He got to the line technically more than Bobby Portis did in 26 minutes. My big guys didn't get to the line in this one. How is that possible? 11 free throws in this game for the Bucks compared to 18 for the Heat. Now, yes, you could say, oh, well, they weren't calling a lot of fouls, as we can see from the free throw battle there. I'm looking at the three-point line. 13 for 39 were the Bucks in this game here. 13 for 39. You're not going to win many games shooting 39 threes and only connecting with 13 of them, because you look at the flip side of that, the Heat, you want to know why they won? 19 for 40. 19 for 40. They almost shot 50% from downtown in this game. Yeah, you can call it a team getting hot, but Bucks couldn't hit from downtown. So instead of, let's try something else here, let's try and take it to the basket here, Giannis, Brook Lopez, any of the guys like that, let's settle for three-pointers. Giannis, 2 threes in this game. He shot 2 threes. Giannis is not a guy I want shooting a three-pointer. I don't care what he is. He can be a superstar all he wants. I am not comfortable with Giannis shooting threes. I'm not. Brook Lopez, 1 for 6. You should have figured out by the third one you weren't hot because 6 of them, it took you 6 shots. I mean, they better have been wide open there. Damian Lillard, 2 for 7 from downtown. At some point, you got to flip the script of the offense because right then, the Heat were letting them shoot threes. They were like, here, pull it. Here, pull it. You can have this. You can have it. The Bucks were doing what the Heat wanted them to do in this game, and that spelled trouble for this Bucks team here. AJ Green, I love when he shoots, but 1 for 6 from downtown in this game. All the way across the board, just a terrible shooting night for the Bucks. With time, maybe some guys get hot, maybe some things get worked out. I know Damian Lillard is day-to-day right now with an injury, so barring that, I mean, that could have a lot to do with it, with why he struggled in this game. And even a guy, I believe Giannis was day-to-day at one point too. Or if he's still, I'm trying to see once. I thought Giannis was also on the injury report there for a little bit. Oh, it's not coming up for me now. You got it? Can you see the injury report for the Bucks?
I can look real quick. I can't remember seeing him on there usually when I click on his name.
I know Dame is for sure, and Middleton. I'm not sure about
Giannis is day-to-day. Middleton's out.
Day-to-day.
Lillard's day-to-day,
So you don't know what's ailing him. You don't know what's ailing both of them guys. But, I mean, it's definitely a problem right now. And when Middleton comes back, it begs the question of when the Bucks have to go for youth and get over this core that they have right now. Because right now, the core, not really working out for you, and the bench is slacking. So definitely good with the Bucks, or interesting with the Bucks there. They have a game coming up tonight against the Grizzlies. It doesn't get easier for the Bucks right now. Now, the Grizzlies are playing, let's just say, terrible basketball. They are 18-36. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ja Morant is back. Ja Morant is back.
He is back. It says OFS. Yep. I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure on that one.
He had surgery on his right shoulder Thursday and will be out for the remainder of the
right. He's out. Yep. He tore it dunking or something like that. I just remember him coming back after his suspension. But now, yes, he is out again. Grizzlies coming off a bad loss, 96-87 against the Pelicans in the last one out. So this is a game for the Bucks you got to get right against the Grizzlies here. This is a lackluster, especially now that I just came back to the realization that Ja Morant is out again, that this team doesn't have a lot going for him right now. And the Bucks got to take advantage of that. The Grizzlies, I believe they're coming to the Pfizer too. Yeah, they will be coming. Nope, that's at home. They will be traveling to Memphis for that game. But you got to take a road game here. This is a road game against a lackluster team. You got to be able to take them out here. I believe Jackson's out too, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Jaren Jackson's out too for violating team rules. Last time I knew anything. So this Grizzlies roster is, depleted. I believe Jaren Jackson, or no, GG Jackson's out, not Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson's still there. GG Jackson is out right now. So, this is, like I said, this is a down and out Grizzlies team that the Bucks have to take advantage of here and be able to win this game in convincing. I got to see the Bucks offense. I do. One of these games, I have to see the Bucks offense take off because right now, this Bucks team, the defense has been getting better. I'll give them that, but I got to see some offense because you cannot win games only scoring 110 points. You're going to face some good teams like the Celtics, and you're going to have to be able to match buckets for a while. And that's what the Celtics are going to ask them to do. Can the Bucks do it? That's going to be an interesting thing to watch there getting later on in the season. So with that, I just wanted to jump into the NBA standings for a second and just take a look at where everything is at right now. In the East, Boston, 6-game lead. Over top of the Cavaliers, who are, 6 games back, and then the Bucks sitting at 7.5. The Knicks at 9 games back there. 76ers at 9.5, and then the Pacers coming in 12.5 games back of the top Celtics right now. Miami Heat are 13 back, followed by the Magic, also 13 back, and then we have the Bulls and the Hawks coming in 16 and 18 back of the Celtics right now. Nothing really surprising in the East right now. Kind of the teams that I expected to be in the top 10 are in the top 10 right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with you. I was thinking the exact same thing, honestly. I mean, if playoffs started today, Bucks will be playing pretty sure the Indiana Pacers there. So not exactly what you want if you're probably a Bucks fan. Um, but hopefully obviously there's still a whole nother half left there. So of the season. So definitely some time to grow still. Probably reaching Boston might be a stretch, but I don't know. But I think the Bucks, as of now, we're not sitting comfortable, but we're sitting in a spot that doesn't hurt us. I'll say that. And with the other teams, kind of how we expected this year was probably going to go for them, like Detroit, Washington, Charlotte, like those teams, just not very good. Detroit or Toronto, crazy how they went from winning a finals. What was that, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, something like that, to now they're just
Yeah, it's been yep.
down in the bottom half there. So not good for Toronto, but definitely still a whole lot of basketball left for other teams to move in, move out. Who knows what could happen?
It's the effect of Kawhi Leonard. When he plays, he was with that Raptors team, and that's what got him over that hump there. So definitely interesting right there. Yeah, I gotta say, if the Bucks, I wouldn't tank if I was the Bucks. If I was sitting at third and the Pacers are still at 6, I'd tank out of there to get out of the Pacers. I would try to play like the 76ers or the Knicks or something there and not have to face the Pacers first round. So definitely, I'm the East is pretty easy right there. Looking at the West, Timberwolves, then Oklahoma City, then the Clippers, followed by the Nuggets, Suns, Pelicans, then the Mavs, then the Kings, then the Lakers, and the Warriors. The Golden State Warriors have jumped back into the top 10. They're getting back into it a little bit here. One game above 500, heading towards that all-star break. Surprises, the Pelicans finally coming into form now that they have Zion Williamson actually playing. That really boosted that team. So the Pelicans, definitely an interesting story there. I expected more out of the Kings after last season there. I expected more out of the Kings right now, sitting in that 8 spot. They're only 7.5 games back. It's not like there's a crazy big margin between 8 and 1 right now. It's all pretty even Steven across the board there. And besides that, Timberwolves and Thunder, two teams that I didn't really expect to be sitting at the top of the Western Conference there for this long, and both of them playing phenomenal basketball there. The Clippers, I always expected at some point they would figure it out. They had Paul George, you have Kawhi. I figured at some point they would have to figure something out. So definitely now we're seeing the Clippers kind of well-rounded and getting into form there. So that kind of makes sense to me. Russell Westbrook plays well. So does James Harden out there for the Clippers. So the top 3, I mean, the only 2 surprises really would be the Timberwolves and the Thunder for me.
And I think what's fascinating is you look at Minnesota. They're kind of mix of, like, Anthony Edwards isn't young, but he's not like very old. And then they got Rudy Gobert, they got Cat there. Like they got some vets, but then a little bit of younger guys. Here you look at Oklahoma City, a lot of younger guys there. They got Chet, they got Shai Alexanders there, or Gilgis Alexanders, who's been in the league for a few years, but still a little bit younger. And then the Clippers are just seems like they're stacked with a bunch of old vets. Not old, but a lot of vets there. They got Zubac, they got Kawhi, Paul George, uh, Russell Westbrook, like a lot of older guys there. And it goes 1, 2, 3. It's kind of a mix of everything. Golden State, like you said, creeping their way back in slowly. They're in the playing games. I think that's what that would be there. And then Sacramento, like you were saying, I thought their season last year was really good. Here they're still in the chance of the playing games there, but thought they'd be a little bit better maybe. I think 2 nights ago they played Phoenix there, and Phoenix was able to squeeze one out there and towards the fourth quarter, make a couple free throws and beat them. So they're playing well with these teams there, but just not able to beat or win some close ones, which I mean every team does, or loses some close ones there. So, but they're setting themselves up for good contention. Dallas Mavericks, they got Luka, they got Kyrie Irving, they got some good ballers over there. So West is definitely a really good conference. They got some young kids, or they got some young ballers, they got some old guys. It's kind of a mix of everything. When you look at the East, if you want to go back to the East, I mean, Boston, you could probably say the same thing as Minnesota. I mean, they got Jason Tatum and some other guys there that have not necessarily old, but they've been playing in the league long enough that they're like kind of right in their prime. They're playing their best basketball. Bucks are a little bit older. Um, and then Cleveland's got some younger guys. So it's kind of the same when you look at it like that. It'll be interesting to see some of these older teams, except for the Clippers, kind of falling out. You look at Los Angeles Lakers, they got LeBron. And I actually saw there was some LeBron stat that LeBron's age is like he's 40 something years old. And I think it was the average age on Toronto, I believe it was, is younger than LeBron. And he also has LeBron has more career points than the whole roster of Toronto combined. So I thought that was pretty interesting there. So LeBron's getting pretty old, but I think he still has a few more years left in him. He'll keep kicking. I also saw that the Golden State Warriors tried trading for LeBron at the trade deadline there, which I think is funny. They're just trying to pull another KD on us, Trage, trying to get Kevin Durant on their team so they can load up for the playoffs and win another championship. But LeBron did not fall for the bait, I guess, this time. So definitely going to be some interesting matchups once we get to the playoffs. When playoffs hit, that's kind of when I start watching a whole lot of basketball because that's a little bit more interesting. This whole regular season stuff, I mean, they just play so many games, kind of like baseball. They just play so many games, like anything can go one way or another one of these times. But seems like when playoffs hit, the intensity rises, and that's what I like. So it'll be interesting to see once we get there what the matchups are and how the games turn out.
If I was LeBron, I would have gone to Golden State. I would have teamed up with Draymond and Steph and won a finals. Yeah. I believe that Steph could have drug LeBron to a finals and won a finals with him. That's right, people. I said Steph would have drug him there. That's for sure. So definitely interesting right there in the NBA standings. But with that, I want to talk about a couple of our sponsors here. Your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty. Call Peggy, Sue, or Anna to find your dream home or if you're looking to sell. Find them on Facebook at your hometown team, Century 21 Gold Key Realty, or stop in and see them at their location in Marshfield. Also, Pittsville Farm and Home Center. At the store, they serve you anything from hydraulic hoses to red roses. Stop in and see the awesome crew at Pittsville Farm and Home Center in Pittsville. Also, Sport and Spine Clinic in Greenwood. Stop in and see the awesome crew there. If you need any physical therapy or anything like that, they will get you right and on your way. But with that, we got to move on here. I just wanted to mention the Brewers did make a trade. They did trade Clayton Andrews to the Yankees. And in return, the Brewers got a prospect pitcher in Joshua Quidaz.
I was hoping you were going to say Aaron Judge, Trage, but guess we missed on that.
It's never Aaron Judge. It's never anything crazy, Austin. Come on. Quezada was 6-0 with a 3.69 ERA in 11 games last year in Summer League. He played in Summer League last year. So we traded Clayton Andrews, who was a AAA/Major League pitcher last year for the Brewers, for a Summer League pitcher who is 19 years old. So we won't hear of this guy for another couple years. But with that, moving out of the Brewers there, that's about all I got for the Brewers on that one. Yeah, I know. I just wanted to get to our Wisconsin sports question of the day. So, Austin, did you come up with Wisconsin sports question of the day?
Yeah, I was going to ask this yesterday, but we kind of went a little too long there. And I was looking at the Badgers football schedule, Trage, and this may be pretty early, really early, but I just wanted to kind of get our first takes on possibly what our record might be, how it might go. We don't got to go too in depth because obviously one day we'll get into that.
You name it, I'll predict. You name it, I'll predict.
Name the team and you predict if it's a winner or loss?
I'll predict if it's a winner or loss. Yes, sir.
All right, Trage. Here we go. Their first game, Western Michigan.
That'll be a win.
All right. South Dakota.
That'll be a win. We're
All
2
right.
0.
Here we go. Big Daddy of them all, Trage. Alabama.
That will be a big loss.
That'll be a big loss. All right. How about USC?
That will also be a loss.
All right. You're 2-2 right now. Now we play against Purdue at home.
That'll be a win. They're coming.
I should have mentioned this, Trage. We play Alabama at home. I will mention that.
It'll be 20 points closer, but still a 20-point loss. Alabama.
All right. At Rutgers.
That'll be a win. We're 4-2.
At Northwestern.
I'm going to say a win as of right now because Northwestern is garbage at football.
All right. Then we go into Camp Randall against Penn State.
That will be a loss. We suck against Penn State.
Every time. I can't remember the last time we beat Penn State, if we ever have.
No.
All right. Then we go into Kinnick Stadium against Iowa.
At Iowa.
At Iowa.
I feel bad about this one, but that's a loss. They have our number.
We're 5-4 right now, Trage. We go to November 16th, a home game against Oregon.
Oh, that's rough. The Badgers have to win one game this year against somebody good. I'll give them Oregon. I hate Oregon, so I'll give the Badgers the win. We'll be 6-4. That's bowl eligible right there.
That's bowl eligible. But we're not satisfied with bowl eligible, Trage. We're trying to make them new playoff. We're trying to make the new playoffs now. It's expanded.
We're 6-4. We're 6-4. We're not making a playoff.
Then we go to Big Red Country, Nebraska.
They got that highly touted quarterback coming in, and our defense will make them look like trash. 7-4.
7-4. And then last but not least, the granddaddy of them all for the Paul Bunyan Axe at home against Minnesota.
Yeah, they'll win that game. I'll give them 8-4 record.
8-4?
8-4.
That's not bad.
I'll give them 8-4. 8-4. That'll work. I can see it. I can see 8-4. That's if they win that game against Oregon. They always lose a stupid game against somebody crap. So I feel like they have to 1 year.
I could see them beating USC, honestly, though.
Me too. I could see that going either way. Caleb Williams is gone now. I think they have that quarterback. They have 2 quarterbacks coming in yet, I thought.
Their backup played pretty good in the bowl game, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought so. He played well, and then they had another guy coming in too.
Yeah.
They'll be okay. I think USC will be okay, but their defense is always garbage.
8-4. Would you consider that a good year for Luke Fickell or kind of the same as this past year?
It's an improvement. I just feel like with how good the Big Ten is getting now with Oregon, Washington, USC, UCLA, that every year now is going to be a gauntlet through the Big Ten schedule. It doesn't matter how you shake it out. 1 year you're going to have Ohio State plus all. I mean, it doesn't help. You got a team like Alabama on the schedule too, along with this other gauntlet of teams. But I mean, nowadays you're going to have a gauntlet in the Big Ten you got to walk through.
I did see Alabama has the most players transferred out of there, so could affect them. Obviously, still Alabama, still really good, but with the new coach from Washington there, with Nick Saban gone, they lost. It had to been at least 50 to 60 kids transferred out of Alabama. I think they're the top team with the most kids that transferred out of Alabama. So that's definitely going to be something to watch there. Definitely, I don't think it's going to be the same Alabama that people once knew. And I could be wrong because Alabama, once again, is Alabama. It's Alabama football. But with a lot of their recruits kind of either decommitting from this past spring to different teams because of Nick Saban gone, and a lot of guys transferring out to other teams, it's definitely going to be a different Alabama. And that could be probably a hot take because watch them win the national championship next year, and then I'll be sitting here again saying what the heck. But I think it could possibly be a different Alabama, but still SEC football. It's Alabama. They got big cojones down there in Alabama. So
yeah, and
I think that'll be a fun game. Hopefully they don't put that. Hopefully they don't put that on Peacock, Trage. That should not be a Peacock.
They probably will.
They probably will.
The big game on Peacock for the week will be that one.
That's an
I mean,
ESPN night game right there.
it is. It should be. But
ABC.
You know how it works. They won't put that as if the Badgers suck, it will be a night game. Otherwise, it's going to be 11 o'clock kickoff. It'll be the noon game. That's always how they do it because Ohio State, Penn State ranked matchup. It was on at noon, not the night game where Nebraska faced Wisconsin. No. They got the noon kickoff there for that big matchup. So I mean, yeah, I agree. Without Nick Saban, it's definitely going to be different. I just, Washington played well this last season. I don't think they're going to get. I can't remember what his name is now.
I can't
Washington's
remember.
head coach. No, but I mean, good job with the Washington program there over the past couple of years and leading into this last year going to the national championship. So, I mean, it's not going to be the same without having Nick Saban in the room.
Kalen DeBoer.
Definitely. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he did a great job with Washington and got them fine-tooled and ready for a national championship, which they played in. I mean, it's not like they were blown out or anything like that, like a lot of Pac-12 teams end up being. I mean, they played a great game there against Michigan. So definitely going to be interested to see what the Badgers do in this upcoming football season. But with that, I want to get to our next sponsor here, Game Day Supply in Onalaska. Do you have a sports club or team? Are you looking for some sweet custom uniforms or apparel? Check out the awesome crew at Game Day Supply to get your team the sweetest gear. Check them out on Facebook at Game Day Supply or online at GameDaySupply.net. But with that, Austin, what do you got for me? Fact of the day.
Yeah, my fact of the day. On this day in 1996, NFL coaching maestro Bill Belichick is fired by Cleveland, finishing his Browns coaching career with a record of 36-44 there back in 1996. And I remember I watched in NFL films. He actually had Nick Saban on his coaching staff for I think a couple of years, or I don't know how many years it was when he was coaching at Cleveland Browns there for them. So definitely two legendary coaches coaching with each other. But I mean, I guess that shows that sometimes when two legendary coaches coach together early, it just doesn't work out. And then obviously we kind of know what happened to both of them. Bill Belichick goes on to New England and wins how many, like 7 Super Bowls, something stupid like that. And Nick Saban pretty much does the same thing, but in the college football. So Bill Belichick, definitely one of the greatest coaches of all time. No matter if you want to say that he got carried by Tom Brady or not, he had some pretty good defenses there that you could say carried Tom Brady sometimes. So definitely a really good football coach.
100% agree with you there. So getting out of Bill Belichick there, we don't want to talk about Bill for too long. We got to get into the Badgers here. Badgers picked up a big, much-needed win over Ohio State there on Tuesday night, 62-50. Tuesday night. 62-54 there against Ohio State. We weren't able to talk about it yesterday. We're going to get into it today, though. So Badgers 62-54. They had the big lead at the half there, 34-21. Ohio State played themselves back into this game against the Badgers, made it dicey, and the Badgers were able to hang on and survive in this one. So, Austin, what did we see for stats in this one that stood out?
I think when you look at the box score for Ohio State, and I'll get to Wisconsin next, but when you look at the box score for Ohio State and you look at even their ending score, I think our defense played well. And I didn't watch the game because it was on Peacock, and I've told this so many times I'm not paying for Peacock. But Jamison Battle, who cooked, I feel like he cooked us, even though we beat Ohio State last time we played out. He had a lot of 3-pointers. But this go around, he only had 1 3-pointer made, and he only had 3 points in the whole game. Agpar only had 2 points for them. Who kind of carried Ohio State here was Thornton. He had 18 points. Gale Jr. had 10, and then Mahaffey had 10 points. Hardman off the bench had 7, but that's pretty much it from this Ohio State Buckeyes team, which I feel like for a while now we've been kind of waiting to see how our defense was going to respond to these past few games, and I thought they responded pretty well. Ohio State, they were on, like we said before, they lost. They were on like their own 5-game losing streak until they finally beat Maryland in double overtime here. And then we were able to beat them now. So definitely a good win. When you look at Wisconsin's box score here, Stephen Crowell led this is what I'm actually excited to see here. Stephen Crowell led the team in points, 16 points from Stephen Crow, 2 3-pointers made, 6 attempts there, but 2 of them made, which I think is pretty good from him, respectfully. AJ Storr, 14 points, Tyler Wall with 10, Chucky Hepburn chipping in there with 9 points, and Max Klesman with 8 there. Nick Winters off the bench with 5, but he was the only one to score off our bench. Connor Sejan, 10 minutes, but he only had 1 field goal, didn't make it. He didn't really shoot a whole lot, it looks like. And that's, I don't know if that was because he just wasn't touching the ball trade. You might be able to know a little bit more about that. But overall, I mean, we out-rebounded them by 13 rebounds there, had 4 more assists, had 12 offense rebounds. So second chance points there for the Badgers. Seems like it's good there. 12 turnovers compared to Ohio State's 8, still something. Could be a little bit more concerning. But overall, I mean, the Badgers were able to get the win, and they needed it. They needed it, Trage, 100%. I watched the highlights on YouTube, and that's kind of what the announcers are saying at the end there is it may have been ugly, but they won the game, and that's what they needed. They need to do that.
Yeah, win's a win at the end of the day. That's all you got to look at it as. But, I mean, you dissect this game and you say, okay, we always look for the problems, right? We got to find some problems in the game. There were problems. Ohio State missed a lot of buckets at the rim there late. This game was an 8-point game. It could have been a heck of a lot closer than that. Wisconsin was not able to slow down the guards for Ohio State from being able to slash and get to the bucket, and they just missed point blank. And that was a struggle for Ohio State there. Actually, we got Chris Holtmann fired from Ohio State after this game. So, I mean, we did a good job, I guess, there. But Ohio State's been on the downhill trend. I believe when the Badgers faced them the first time, they only had like 2 losses. They were 13-2 on the season, and now looking at them, they're 14-11. So you look at how many they lost 9 of their last 10 games there, or whatever.
I don't think it was the Badgers that really got them fired. We were kind of the nail in the coffin, but there was a lot of stuff leading towards that.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I mean, Ohio State, not a terrible team in any right. I mean, the Badgers had to do what they had to do in this game. Good teams find a way to win in the end, right? And that's what we always say. Still question marks for me, a lot of questions that need to be answered with Wisconsin. Like you said, the turnovers. They still are turning the basketball over too much. 12 turnovers doesn't seem like a lot, but a lot of careless turnovers. And that's a problem if you are Wisconsin. Just a lot of not, trying to anticipate where guys are going to be, and they're not there. Too much anticipation for the Badgers. And I loved what I saw out of AJ Storr in this game. AJ Storr, I mean, this was a good game out of Storr. 14 points on 4 for 9 from the floor. That's what you love to see. That's what you want to see out of AJ Storr. That's the AJ Storr that's when you're going to win basketball games, is when AJ Storr is distributing the basketball to shooters and allowing other guys to flow through the offense also, not forcing shots. I didn't see a bad shot from AJ Storr. This is one of the only games this year where I could say I did not see a bad shot from AJ Storr. So that's always great to see out of this Badger team. Stephen Crow in this one, I thought he played a little bit more aggressive, and that's what you want to see. Like you said, I mean, 16 points, that's good signs for Crow. He's got to stay with that. Stay aggressive, keep going towards the basket. Don't get pushed around in there. Be the bully, right? Be the bully in the paint, and that's what Crow's got to do. He had 10 rebounds, 16 points, double-double on the game. That's good, but you got to keep building off that. You can't go – we see what the Badgers can do when shots are falling and the post is working. That's what happened in this game. The post was working. The Badgers were able to win this game. When the post isn't working, the Badgers struggle. In this game, they still struggled from downtown, 7 for 21. Wasn't phenomenal. 7 threes, getting a little bit better there. Shots are falling again. But I thought they were a lot better attacking the basket in this one. And that is great to see if you are the Badgers there. Defensively, like you said, holding Ohio State down to 54. Holding Jamison Battle to only 3 points in this game. And in the post there, Akpara, only 2 points on this game here. Only shot once, but great defense all the way around from the Badgers. And the backup center there for Ohio State, Zed Key, 13 minutes and no points in this game. The bench for the Badgers, I mean, I don't expect much out of Gilmore. And Isaac Lindsley got 2 minutes there, but Isaac Lindsley not doing much for the Badgers this year, not playing a lot. Essegian, 0 for 1. He had one layup there he missed. Other than that, really didn't get a shot. I mean, teams know what Essegian wants to do, so they dog him. They are all over Essegian there on the offensive end. They're not going to let him get an open look from downtown and make him pay. So that's a big part of why Essegian didn't get a lot of shots up in there. Nolan Winter, 1 for 1 in the game from 3. That's about all he shot there from from the floor, otherwise 2 free throws in this one. Nolan Winter played well off the bench, about what you expect out of the backup center for the Badgers. Not having Blackwell and McGee, that's hurt the Badgers as of late. So hopefully getting those 2 back will be a big boost for this Badger team moving forward. But, I mean, Badgers, like we said, they got the win. Still got some question marks with this Badger team right now. I don't know if this fixed all my questions that I've had over the past 4 games here for the Badgers, but this is a step in the right direction. Now you got to travel to Iowa City this weekend here to take on Iowa, which is going to be a big matchup. Iowa's getting better. I mean, last time we saw Iowa, they were just a lackluster team. Now they're 14-10. They're starting to get back into it, and they're playing. Tony Perkins is playing better for them. McCaffrey's playing better. This team is playing better, so Wisconsin's going to have their hands full traveling to Iowa City for that one. So should be a good one there. Other than that, good to see the Badgers get a win. It's what we've been waiting to talk about as a Badgers win, so great to see there with the Badgers. But with that, that's about all we got for the. You got anything else to add there with the Badgers?
No, like you said, we're in this. We're taking the steps in the right direction, and it's good to see. Hopefully, we continue that.
Sticking with the Badgers here. Next up, we have our special guest of the day. She works for the University of Wisconsin in ticket sales. We have Bailey Hines with us on today. How are you doing today, Bailey?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing?
Austin, how we doing?
I mean, better than we deserve. Have you seen that guy on TikTok? Never mind. It's this guy that does financial stuff, and he's like, better than I deserve.
Better than we deserve. That's how we're doing today, I guess. So we're doing fantastic. We're doing fantastic. We were just talking about the Badgers there. Got the win over Ohio State there. Survived that game. Now we want to flip script. We want to talk about the person who lets these people in the gates here at the Kohl Center there. So just kind of give us an overview of what you do and kind of, introduce yourself. Let us know what you do and give us the whole spiel.
Okay, yeah. I'm Bailey Hines. I am an account executive for the University of Wisconsin. Kind of a little overview of like what I do. I sell tickets for every single ticketed sport. So that would be football, men's basketball, women's hockey, men's hockey. Those are like the big ones. We don't do really any other sports. Oh, and volleyball too. Volleyball is huge. Those fans are crazy, but like in a good way. But yeah, so basically those really big sports, I sell all the tickets for it, season tickets, group tickets, single game tickets, basically everything under the sun.
Okay. And how many years have you been doing this?
I've been there pretty close to 1.5 years now, which feels like not even that long, because like you think about it kind of like in terms of like all the seasons, and it's like, oh gosh, I already finished 2 football seasons, or I finished that many seasons, so it really doesn't feel like that long. But yeah, 1.5 years.
Okay. And in that 1.5 years, is there any sport that you've seen kind of grow throughout the year there that has kind of progressed, where started out ticket sales were really small, but as the season went on, everybody's like, we got to get there?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Definitely men's hockey. Last year they were so bad. I went to 1 game and I was like, I'm not going back to another one. They are bad. Like they're really, really bad. Fired the head coach, got a brand new one. And now they're, I think, like 3 in the country, and like going to the games now, it's honestly the most fun I've had. They're so great. And we sold 2 out, which is crazy. Cause like last year we weren't even close to doing that. So they're so much better and they're so much fun. So definitely men's hockey for sure.
My favorite part about a hockey game is the Zamboni. Yeah. I gotta say, the Zamboni coming out, I would be a Zamboni driver. Austin, I could see you as a Zamboni.
I want to drive one of them.
Dude.
Bucket list right there.
We can sell like someone to ride the Zamboni, and I sold a group of frat boys, and a frat boy literally was like, "Can I please ride the Zamboni?" And I'm like, "You're too big, dude. It's for like little kids. You're too big."
Maybe I won't be able to drive the Zamboni then.
Usually it's the other way. You're too little to ride the ride. Now we're too big to ride the ride.
Yeah.
It's literally just like a little seat they have like screwed on to the back of the Zamboni, and it's just this like little kid that like sits and waves while the Zamboni driver like does his job. Like
Get
that's
me up
literally
there.
all
I'll
it
start.
is.
Hello, everyone.
I could squeeze on there. We could make this thing happen. Your
Yeah.
people will talk to our people. We'll make something happen.
We'll make something.
Okay, perfect.
So I mean, going off of that, have you had a lot of like strange ticket requests through your years there?
Strange ticket requests? I don't know if strange is the right word, but we also sell for the band concert. And those people like love band more than they love breathing. And like we have to deal with them and that's totally fine, but like they're nuts. Like this one lady called me on the phone and was like, "I need a ticket that is like house left, stage right." And I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm stupid and I don't know what you're saying to me. Like you have to give me like a seat number. I don't know what any of that means." And she's like, "It's not that hard. Like figure it out." I was like, I wasn't in the band, ma'am. I'm a ticket rep. Like I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what house left means. Like, and it's just
I'm
these
looking at
band
my
people.
house right now.
Yeah.
And it's to the left.
And she's like, "Put me on hold and ask someone in your office if they know what I mean." I put the phone on hold. I was like, "Does anyone in here know what this lady is saying?" Not a single person knew what she meant. I was like, "Well, okay, she's going to be so mad at me. She's going to yell at me for being dumb." And I just like, it is what it is. I'm like, "I don't know what you mean. I don't know."
At that point, just stick her in the stands, and then hopefully you're correct. If not, then you already sold her the ticket. So who really cares? You get the money.
No, because she would find me and she would probably beat me up. Because like she's like, "My daughter's in the band and I have to have the perfect seat to watch her play her saxophone." I was like, I
True.
cannot help you. I can't.
You just had to figure out where the saxophone players were and kind of put her in the general.
They're all over, Trey. I've been to them performances before. Hey, they're pretty good. I'll admit, our band is spectacular.
No,
but
super good. Yeah.
But wow, they're all over the place. They're all over the place.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you put her up in the nosebleeds and let her look through binoculars.
Yep.
Dude, I was like, "I'm not going to sell you a seat," because I'm like, I don't want to be the one responsible for putting you on the complete opposite side and you not being able to see your kid and then getting yelled at. I'm like, ask your daughter where exactly she wants you to sit and then you can call me back because I don't know what you're saying.
Can you imagine the daughter puts her on the opposite end of the field? Like, I don't want pictures or anything of this, so I'm put her down there.
As long as it's not my fault, that's fine. She can sit wherever she wants as long as I didn't put her in the wrong spot. That's fine.
Well, so we know the band is the worst one. Don't sell tickets to people going to watch the band. That's what I'm getting at.
They're crazy and they love it. Like they mark their calendars and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're 6 months away. I need to call right now. Like I have to bother them about it right now."
I would have never expected that one. That was a different kind of answer right there.
Yeah, me either. And like my coworkers when I first started warned me, but I was like, "There's no way it's that bad. It's that bad." They're crazy.
Passionate fans in Wisconsin.
Dude, yeah. I love it.
Hey, the rest of the sports kind of let us down, so we got to get something. The band can't let us down. The band can't let us down. Unless the tuba player falls down, he doesn't let us down. He makes it through. So.
Yeah.
So we got the strange, we got the interesting part. What do you like most about your job there?
I mean, honestly, I do just like love talking to people because you'll talk to some of these like season ticket holders, especially for football, and they've had these tickets since like the 70s. And just honestly hearing some of their stories, it's just wild because I just like can't even imagine what football was like back then. And just some of these really, really old people, it's just like, I don't know. And they complain a lot, like honestly, which is fine. But they tell some of the wildest stories about like back in the day in the 70s. I remember watching Ron Dane on the field. I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not that old, but like tell your story."
I got YouTube.
But it's just, yeah, I'll look up his stats later. But but yeah, it's just some of these people have just been around forever and they're just like diehard fans and they have some of the craziest stories to tell. So I just like honestly like love hearing about it. It's just really cool.
Okay. And, going off of that, we talked about this the other day, and that was the Kohl Center's kind of different. It's only got the one section for the students, and it goes straight up from there. Do you think that the atmosphere is I know you want to get the older folks in there, and you want to be able to have them, good seats and everything like that. They are season ticket holders, but do you believe that it kind of affects the atmosphere? Because we watch a lot of these other universities, like, say, Duke, Cameron Indoor Stadium, the whole bottom bowl is all students in there. And you can see how crazy, they're called the Cameron Crazies for a reason. It gets loud in there. And you look at a difference like the Kohl Center, where it's only on one end. That's all you have for students. And that's usually your rowdier part of the crowd. Do you think that kind of, I want to hear from your perspective what you think on that whole thing.
Yeah, no, I 100% think that it definitely affects the atmosphere. And the people that sit in the lower bowl, they've been season ticket holders forever, just like football. Like the lower bowl, I think the demographic is probably 80 and up. Like literally, people who don't have season tickets in the 100 level call them the white hairs because they're so old. And like at every game, the student section always has a sign that says, "Old people stand up," because they just refuse to like have fun with it. And like, that's fine, you're old, like you probably can't stand up, but it's just, I really do think it does affect the atmosphere. And I know that like some things are in the works to kind of like redo the seating in the Kohl Center, or maybe like reprice some things. Like, not that we're like trying to price them out, but like they've had the same season tickets forever and their price hasn't really changed. So it's like you're sitting in the same seat that's been the same price for 20 years. Like, that's not right. So I definitely think the older people do affect the atmosphere a little bit. And I do think the student section is like fine where they are. Like, I don't know if like spreading them out would be any better, but I do think some of the older people just don't like to have fun with it, and that's fine. They don't really go there for that, I guess. But no, it's definitely an issue, but it's just kind of like, how do you solve it without upsetting somebody? So
I feel like at some point you just have to upset somebody.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be the old people.
Yeah. I mean, because you watch a lot of these games and you get into some big games, big game atmospheres. And even when a team, like, you watch that game against Purdue, and the Badgers had to get it all the way back down to about 4 points before the crowd actually made a noise. That place was
I know, yeah. No, I was there, and it was like there'd be really like long spurts of it being loud, but then it gets so quiet in there, and it's just like a factor of like, is it the students that are the issue? Is it like everybody? It's just hard. It's hard to like really find out what the issue is, but no, it's tough because like I was also at the Tennessee game like really early on in the season, and I thought the atmosphere was going to be insane, and it was pretty lackluster. I thought Purdue was the best it had been all season long, but yeah, I feel like some of these bigger games, the atmosphere should just be like what it is times 10, and it's a real problem, and we're all kind of like, well, who's the issue? The old people, or is it kind of everybody? It's a mystery. I don't know.
It really is, because you look, the Badgers program, basketball, men's especially, has been good for 20 plus years now. And it takes the Badgers actually getting a lead in a game for the crowd to get into it. It's not like we get it down to 5, now the crowd's into it kind of thing. And it's going to take change. I think it's going to take change, because you look at a lot of other college atmospheres, and I just don't think the Badgers really compete. I really don't think. I mean, in your aspect, do you think they're close with a lot of other schools, bigger schools?
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, like, especially just watching on a TV, it's really hard to gauge it. I went to a basketball game at Northwestern last season, and I thought our atmosphere was way better than Northwestern. But again, they weren't that good last season. So it's kind of like, well, was the atmosphere bad because it's Northwestern and they're bad? But no, I definitely think, our atmosphere could definitely be a lot better. And I do think it's not because of like the student section. And it's just hard to compete. And it's really interesting. I didn't think it was going to be like that, but it's hard.
She can't say too much, otherwise she's going to be offending some people there in ticket sales. So she's like,
I don't want my boss to see this.
I got to keep her on the down low here, but I'm going to tell you a little bit. All right.
Yeah.
So, do you ever, in your job, get to interact with some of the players or coaches of these different teams?
Last year, actually, because right now we're doing football season ticket reorders. So last year at this time, kind of when we hired on Luke Fickle and he was getting all of his staff together, Luke Fickle actually came down in our office and made phone calls with us.
I saw that video.
Yeah, I was in it. But
I'll go back and rewatch it.
No. Yeah. It was actually just my hand, I think, dialing the number. But
you saw my hand there. Now we got it.
Yeah, you saw my hand. But no. And he like stayed down there and he interacted with us for quite a while. And he's honestly like, he's really funny. He's really scary. I'm not going to lie. He's towers over everybody. He's massive, a massive dude. But he was so nice. And the fact that he like took time out of his probably like very busy day just to sit down in our office, which at the time was in a basement in Camp Randall, is crazy. And he's just on the phone talking with these old people. And it was so cool to like see him do that. Like Greg Gard and like, Paul Chris before never really do things like that. And like that's fine. They're very busy people. But just the fact that Luke Fickle was like, I'm going to take time out of my day just to call these people. I thought that was like really, really cool. And like he interacted with us and it was just really, really cool.
Did he walk in with his vest that said team on the back? Because that's all I've ever seen Luke Fickle wear.
Dude, I don't think the team vest was a thing yet. He definitely was wearing a vest, I think. But I don't think the team vest was a thing yet. He was so new at that point. He was probably cooking it up in his head. But it was just a normal vest. But after that, though, I think all the guys went out and bought vests. Like, I don't know. They all want to be him so bad.
So we know Luke Fickle's a vest guy.
Oh, dude, 100% he's a vest guy. Yeah.
I'm not getting a vest. I can tell you that much. Oh, Austin's getting a vest.
I might have to be a vest guy.
Honestly, the vests are the move. I have a vest. I had it before Luke Fickle, not to flex or anything, but like vests are kind of the move.
She had it before Fickle. She's better than him. We know she was better than Fickle. We're gonna we got our new sweatshirts coming out with Wisconsin Sports on the Go. We're gonna put team on the back. That's what we're gonna do. Straight across the back. We're gonna put
give me a vest, Tridge.
It stands for something too. Oh my god! It like because it's an acronym. It's like teamwork or something above. Oh my gosh!
Efforts above Minnesota.
So I don't even know. Oh my God.
Tower everyone at Minnesota. There you go. There we go. Now we know. Now we know what team means. It's close enough.
Yeah.
It's close enough. When you see Luke Fickle next, you ask him, what does team mean? Because I need to know. Because he wore that. All I can remember of seeing Luke Fickle from this last season, I didn't even see his face. I just see the sweater. I see the vest. I see team across the back. That's it. We were at the Badger game when they played. I can't remember who they played when we went down there. Oh, some crap team. They almost lost. Buffalo, maybe? I don't know.
Oh,
some crap team.
Was it Georgia Southern?
Beginning of the season.
Georgia Southern. That's
it. Something like that.
And we were sitting there, and Autumn goes, well, where's Luke Fickle? How do you know? I said, looking for the guy with the team vest on. And yep, there he was. You can't miss him. He's the only guy. He's the only guy in a vest. So, going off of that, we got some of your favorites. Just Luke Fickle's the big one. Any players that you've seen there?
I wouldn't say we're like not allowed to interact with the players, but like we're definitely not like supposed to. You
gotta bend the rules though.
We see them sometimes because like they'll walk into our office. We pass like the football locker room, and like obviously like they're always just kind of around Camp Randall. So like we see them all the time. Where I can't just stop and say like hello. That would probably not be good. But no, we see them like all the time, like working out and doing their thing. Like once I saw Braylon Allen, and like dude's massive. He was just wearing like sweats and a sweatshirt, and like double my size. I was like, dude's a truck. It was crazy.
Yeah, he would scare me.
Tredge, we should put Braylon Allen and you in a ring and see who wins.
Dude, even some of the volleyball girls, I'll see them walking, and there's like Anna Schreck is, I think, like 7 foot, 7'1". I'll see her walking, and I just like look up. I'm like, they're so tall. Like, obviously, like I know that they're tall, but like seeing them in person, it's just like, how are you that tall? It's just crazy. It's nuts.
Well, that whole volleyball team. I mean, Devin Robinson's only like 6'2", but she's that's still tall, and she looks small compared to the rest of that team.
I know, but it's like that's what you see on TV. Then you see them like walking around in person. I'm like, you're so tall. Like, you just look like an athlete. It's crazy. It's just nuts.
So going off of that there, you've been to a lot of big games, like you said. What are some of the longest lines that you've ever seen, or the longest for the fans have been waiting to actually get into games?
Yeah. So, I mean, volleyball, there's always a line, like, because it's GA. So basically, doors open 90 minutes prior. So anyone who has GA has to wait in line. And the Nebraska game last year, or this season, people were in line the day before at 6 a.m. because we can see it from our office. And I was like, the game is over 24 hours away. There was people just and they brought lawn chairs, they brought blankets. I was like, you guys not have jobs? It's crazy. And as soon as the doors open, they are sprinting. I've seen people fall over because they're running so fast, and they're pushing each other over. It looks like Black Friday. That's kind of how it looks. They're just running to get the front row spot in the GA section. It is volleyball fans are on another level. It is crazy.
Old people can't compete with that, Trage.
Dude, they can't, and that's why
the
they
old
hate
people
it.
are the ones that are running.
Dude, I saw an old lady one time, and she fell so hard, and her stuff fell everywhere, and I felt so bad, and someone came up to help her, and she's shrugging people off, getting her stuff, and she continues to run, and I was like, she's got somewhere to go. She's not losing her spot. And it's people will lay down in the stands and just plank basically to save spots. I'm like, it's not that serious, guys. I mean, it is, but it's just not that serious.
No, I have a race to my couch to turn it on and watch it on my. I mean, that's as far as I go. I mean, everything's good there. So going off of that, you mentioned lawn chairs there. Have you seen any crazy things tents, anything like that? People camping out before the game, anything like that?
Yeah, so the Purdue basketball game, students were camping out. We were leaving the hockey game that previous night, and students had tents out there. They had cases of beer, and we're walking by, and they're dapping us up. They're like, we're gonna be in the front row, guys. We're gonna be on TV. And the next day, we saw the same students, and they had Big Steve painted on their chests. But yeah, students will just camp out. I don't know if they've done that for other games. Maybe Tennessee and maybe probably Marquette too. But the students will camp out outside the Kohl Center for these games. It's it's super cool because that's dedication. I probably wouldn't do that if I was a college kid, but it's so cool.
So tell me the answer to this question. We talked about that same thing there a couple weeks ago. What do they do with the tents when they go inside? Because you got to pack it up. You can't just leave or sit on the sidewalk. What do they do with them?
I'm going to assume they bring them in, or they throw them away. Because when we were walking out of the game, where they were camping out was littered with trash, which makes me feel bad. Because I was just pick up your stuff. But I think they honestly just throw it away, or they hide it outside somewhere. I don't even know. Or a friend comes and takes it. But yeah, I don't know. Because when they're gone, it's just trash. Just littered.
So what I'm getting out of this is walk in front of the
better fat guys.
Literally.
We could just walk in front of the Kohl Center and steal a couple tents some random night. That's what I'm getting out of this.
You probably could. If you found it hiding behind a trash can or something somewhere, you probably could, or some blankets or something. Yeah.
There we go. That's all we need right there. So, going off of that there, what's your favorite sport to work? You've worked, like you said, football, volleyball, everything in between there. What are some of your favorite sports that you've worked so far?
Honestly, I think the men's hockey games are the most fun just because there's the most to do. With football and volleyball, we work those, but those it's kind of just standing around and just kind of doing crowd control and just kind of being there in case people need something. But with men's hockey, you actually get to do fan tunnels and do things with fans, and I just prefer that than just kind of standing around. But I get to go to the games for free because I'm working. So I'm not going to complain about it. But yeah, the men's hockey, it's you actually get to do things with people you sold. If you did a group or, anything like that. You actually get to do things. So it's just really cool.
Okay.
I remember going to a few hockey games through FFA. So I'm sure you probably I'm sure you probably had to do that these past few years too, huh?
Dude, I mean, I was an FFA when I was in high school. We never got to do cool things like that.
Yeah.
Greenwood's got a lot of money to spend on the FFA.
Oh, I'm so much money, I'm sure.
Population of 1,000 people. We're throwing it all into the FFA.
I think my school is smaller than that. So,
hey, we're not here to compete. We're not here to compete with the other small school. All right, all right. So, so has anyone ever tried to barter? Have they tried to give you a kind of hey, would you give me a deal? Anything like that? Have you had any of those kind of cases?
I mean, not really bartering, but this year for football, we raised the season ticket prices by $20. So really nothing crazy. And I feel like I've had so many people ask, can I just pay last year's price? And I'll be like, no, you can't. I'm sorry. This is just how it is. And they're like, well, okay, I have to think about it because I don't know if I can pay that much. I was like, dude, it's $20. And they're just like, if you didn't change the price, I would 100% be buying. He's like, if you can give me a deal, that would be perfect. I just I never know what to say in those situations. I'm just like, this is the price. If you can pay it, pay it. If you can't, that's fine. But I can't give you the old price. That's not a thing anymore.
Classic example of supply and demand, Trage.
Dude, we're playing Alabama next year.
We were talking about this.
Or not?
A lot of big games next year.
Dude, our schedule is going to be so good, from here on out. And I tell people that I'm like, do you want to go to Alabama or not? And they're always like, yes. And I'm like, okay, then bye. What's the issue? Yeah. Seriously, if you don't buy it now, you're going to be paying that for just Alabama. So
I got to agree with you. Agree with you there. So can you tell me a little bit about the differences between big games and let's just say when Michigan comes to town, because they suck this year, even though the Badgers lost to them? I mean, tell me some of the differences between, those big games versus some of these lesser teams coming to town.
I mean, there's just definitely less excitement. It's a lot harder to sell the tickets because it's it's a Tuesday at 8 p.m. Who wants to go to a Tuesday at 8 p.m.? Last year, the basketball schedule was so bad. It was impossible to sell tickets. We had, I think, 4 Tuesday 8 p.m. games. I think we had 4 Thursday 8 p.m. games. I think we had maybe 3 weekend games. And I was like, who wants to come to this? Every time I'd call somebody, they'd be like, I have children. I was like, okay, and that's your fault. Sometimes it's just hard because it's I didn't make the schedule and I understand a Tuesday at 8 p.m. is very inconvenient and no one really wants to go. Last night we played Ohio State and it was at 8 p.m. and it just looked pretty empty. And again, that kind of affects the atmosphere a little bit. But it's just hard because it's just things that are out of our control, the time and the day, and it's just stupid.
All about
I got a question.
Money.
Kind of go off of that. How'd you guys kind of prepare for when the women's team played against Iowa with Caitlin Clark coming in? Did you guys kind of expect that to be a sellout game, or were you kind of just playing ahead in, or some sort of way?
No, we definitely were expecting it to be a sellout. And at first we were like, okay, how are we going to kind of make sure that it's a good amount of our fans and Iowa fans? I mean, granted, you can't really help that if someone's like, I want to buy. You can't be like, all right, what's your address? You know what I mean? So it's just, It was really, really cool because people would call so far in advance. And I remember the day of the sale for that game. We come in and you can see how many calls are waiting in are just the general ticketing line. And it was above 50. You can't see it once it goes above 50. So we were taking call after call after call, and it stayed at 50 for almost 2 hours. And it was just I mean, it went so fast, which is super nice, but it's just, and whenever you're we're sold out, everyone's so upset, and it's just, and it was a majority of Iowa fans, which we're the closest Big Ten school to Iowa, so we were kind of also expecting that, and you can't really help that either because Iowa doesn't really have anything to do. It's Nebraska. They have nothing to live for other than their women's sports.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I went to that game and like it was like our women's team is really bad. So I mean, I wasn't going to watch us. You're really just going to watch Caitlin Clark, and that's kind of what she's done at like every Big Ten school. She's sold out everywhere that she's played. So I mean, it's just really cool to just see that kind of talent in person. It's crazy.
I was gonna go, but the tickets sold out before I could get one.
Dude, it was crazy. And like we don't, I mean, it holds a lot of people and we had to open up so many seats. And like it was just kind of like a staffing issue as well because it's all GA except for like 3 sections in the middle. So it was kind of like, do we completely sell it out and then like have like safety issues, or do you like leave some open? It was just kind of like, at what point do we say like that's enough? It was just kind of like a juggling act, I guess. But I mean, everything went really well and it was a really good turnout. It was super cool.
All for Caitlin Clark. That's all.
Dude,
I
mean,
all for
it's
Caitlin
just,
Clark.
it's so sad because it's like you go to that women's basketball game and then you like see the rest of them and like you're lucky if there's like 1,000 people at some of these women's basketball games, and it makes me feel so bad, but it's also like they're not very good. They're definitely better than they were last year, but it's just like they're not very good.
No, they've definitely gotten better over the years, but it's still not
still not great
good at all. So,
yeah.
So going off of that, we just want some of your predictions. Austin, I'm going to have you quiz her on the football, but going off of basketball here, the men's basketball team, because we know the women's are destined for whatever they're destined for, but
the
men's team, the NIT, the men's team, they were trending towards the NIT there for a while there. They got that win against Ohio State. I mean, going off of that, where do you see this team? I mean, they're not top of the Big Ten. They're definitely, they lost to Michigan, so I can't say they aren't the bottom.
Yeah.
I see them in that middle range right now, and I don't know about tournament hopes, so I'm not even going to get into the tournament right now. I think they'll make the tournament. I don't know how far they're going to go. So, I mean, going off of that, what do you think with this Badger team right now? How do you see this season ending?
I think looking at the rest of the home schedule, they can definitely win out. If they played like they did last night, which, you know, not the best they've played, but definitely better than it has been, I think they can win out. Our hardest opponent left is Illinois, which like I think we're better than Illinois. So definitely think we're gonna win out. I don't know if we'll break like back into the teens for the rankings. I think we'll probably stay pretty close to 20. I don't think we'll get bounced in the first round of the tournament. I think we can make it a round or two, just really depending on how high of a seed they give us. I think that's really going to determine it. Because like before we went on that big losing streak, everyone's like, oh, they'll probably be like a 4, 5, or 6 seed. Now it probably won't be that high. I think if we drop lower, we may get bounced sooner rather than later. But I think they can make it a round or two, just depending on what seed they get. Because they're good. It's just like their core players sometimes I just are so inconsistent. Like I love Steven Crowell, but like sometimes it's like, dude, you're a big dude. What are you doing? You know what I mean? It's sometimes
he's like Charmin Ultra Soft.
Yes, it's just like he lives in Zach Edey's head rent free, but then he can box him out perfectly and like play a perfect defensive game against probably the best Big Ten player. But then in Michigan, it's like, what are you doing? It's like, is this your first game? It's crazy how it can go from like night and day. It really, It's just, they're so inconsistent and it's just, sometimes it's hard to watch, but.
I'll give you that one. It is hard to watch. And I mean, to go from number 6 in the country, I am surprised they actually are ranked, to be honest with you, after 4 losses.
Yeah.
I was expecting out of the top 25. So, I mean, going off Wisconsin men's basketball, before I get to Austin here, have you heard a lot of rumblings from fans, anything like that, about Greg Gard? I've seen a lot of displeasure with the work of Greg Gard there in Madison. I used to defend him. Now I'm kind of on the boat there where I want to see change. Austin's at the train station. He's waiting for the train to get there. So, I mean, have you heard a lot of, I mean, you hear fans coming in, everybody's grumbling on their way in, they're grumbling on their way out. Have you heard anything from fans that kind of points you in the direction of this might be what needs to happen?
I mean, it's so hard because he does a lot of things right, but then he does, I feel like, the really big things wrong sometimes. And sometimes his coaching decisions aren't, I don't think, the best. He makes a lot of bad timeout calls, in my opinion. Like, I feel like he should have called a timeout there, or like, why is he calling a timeout there? I don't think he uses timeouts like right at all. And I also don't think he's the best recruiter in the world. I definitely think it's gotten better. Still, I think a little like lackluster for like as good as we could be. But I think if we lose, like, I don't even know how many home games we have left, but I think if we lose like a couple more and get a pretty low seed in the tournament and get bounced right away, it definitely might be time. I thought he was going to get fired last year after missing the tournament completely. I'm really surprised they didn't. So they must know something that like we don't know. I don't know. Like, it's crazy that we went to the NIT and he kept his job and we didn't even win the NIT. But I think it really depends if we get bounced in the first round, and that's really gonna, I think, determine whether or not he gets fired or not.
Yeah, 100%. It's just interesting how McIntosh works it down there because Paul Chryst didn't get much of a leash, but Greg Gard, it's like he's got a gun to his head because he won't pull the trigger on Gard. So it's definitely it's like he's trying to keep the Bo Ryan era alive in Madison, but Greg Gard is not Bo Ryan. Bo Ryan could develop guys, and I don't, like you said, recruiting's bad, but I also think development's bad too. I don't think any of these guys are getting to their true potential at Madison.
No, it's like they come in 3 or 4 stars and they leave the exact same, which I think is like, what's the point? Like, there's no point to that then. It's like, we don't make like NBA talent, which I'm like, isn't that the point of going to play college basketball? Like, the best talent we've had of recent is Johnny Davis, and that's not really anything to like rave home about either. So I don't know if it's like they don't think there's any better options like at the time. Like last season, they're like, maybe there's no better head coaching options, or I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens this year, though, for sure.
Money talks. That's all I know. Money talks. You can get. They got Luke Fickell, and I didn't think Luke Fickell was coming to Madison. So money talks. You can get somebody. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
people are. Yeah. I don't know.
So Austin, I got 8-4. I put the Badgers football team in this upcoming season at 8-4 was their final record. Austin still thinks that's good enough to make the college football playoff. I told him no. So Austin,
I didn't say it was good enough to make the college football playoffs. I'm saying you're kind of lowballing us to make the college football playoffs, Trage.
Lowballing us. You look at that schedule, and I ain't lowballing nothing. 8-4 is generous. So Austin, give her the schedule. We're gonna write it down. We're gonna see who wins. We're gonna have this whole prediction thing. We'll see who wins.
All right, Bailey. First game of the year. I mean, you probably know the whole schedule. I probably don't have to say it, but we play Western Michigan at home.
Oh, dude, easy win. Easy.
All right.
Hey, come on. Don't say easy. I saw that moment lose a couple of times.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Next game, also a home game against South Dakota.
I think that's a win.
Against the Jackrabbits. We got to win.
Oh, yeah.
They're not the Jackrabbits. That's South Dakota State, Trage.
Yeah, see, if it was South Dakota State, that might be an L. Yeah, I know. I was kind of excited too, but yeah.
I think they're the Coyotes or something.
I forgot that.
Yes. Their logo's like green. I don't even know.
Is South Dakota big enough to have 2 colleges?
I guess so.
Dude, I don't know.
FCS.
I didn't know there's enough people out there, but okay. All right, Austin, you got it.
All right, next one, the big one. On Saturday, September 14th, home against Alabama.
Okay, wild take. I think we win that game.
Oh,
I think we win that one with a new
That's
head
what I
coach,
was saying.
And they we win. I think we win that one by like a game-winning field goal. I'm calling it.
3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, I wish.
Barn burner.
Iowa score.
Dude, oh gosh.
All right, next one at USC. What do you got?
I think we win that one too.
Ooh,
dude, they don't Caleb Williams. Like,
that's what we were talking about that too a little bit there earlier.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but their backup though, that last game looked really good. So
yeah,
we'll see.
So now we're probably ranked like number 10 in the nation at this point. 4-0 record.
I would hope so. Yeah,
we're number 2 in the nation. And we got a home game against Purdue.
That's a win. I think that's a win.
5-0 start. I already had 2 losses on the schedule at this point.
Next game up at Rutgers.
I think that's a loss. I think that's a loss.
Wow. You take the loss to Rutgers, but the win against USC on the road?
Dude, we always lose one really bad away game to a terrible Big Ten team.
I'll give you that.
You were good that one year, and we lost to Illinois on the road. I'm pretty sure that was.
This is true. I'll give you that. Yeah. I'll give you that. Rutgers with the loss. All right.
Okay.
5-1 now. We're probably
5-1, and now we're like number 20th in the nation, but
we're 20.
Yeah.
Next game on
South Dakota.
Yeah. So next game on the schedule at Northwestern.
I think we lose that one too. We lost to Northwestern. They beat us so bad last year.
That is true.
They're sneaky.
You yelled at me. I took losses to Alabama, USC. We have Rutgers and Northwestern taking losses on this.
But for some reason, her reasonings seem more ethical than yours, Trage.
Dude, okay, just like imagine it now. We start off hot. Everyone's got these big expectations. And then kind of like the basketball team, you have a few really bad losses. They'll get it back on track, It's okay.
Welcome to Wisconsin sports. Okay, this next one. All right, this next one is going to determine if she knows Wisconsin football or not. At home against Penn State.
Dude, we're winning that one.
All right. I'm Wisconsin. Let's go.
We have on Wednesdays, we have Wisconsin Sports Therapy. I want you to come on with us because you would make us feel a lot better about what's going on in Wisconsin sports.
Dude, I think Penn State are frauds. Like they're frauds. I'm sorry.
Okay, so right now we're 5-2. We're 5-2.
Okay.
We're 6-2.
5-2.
Yep.
6-2.
We took losses to Northwestern and Rutgers, but we beat Alabama.
On the road, though.
USC.
On the road.
Yes, on the road. Dude, we never lose to anyone good. I swear, when we lose, it's always to the worst teams in such embarrassing fashion.
And Ohio State.
And Ohio State.
Dude, we almost beat Ohio State, though. So I
almost only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and nuclear warfare. So Austin, next up.
Okay. Our next team is at Iowa.
Oh, that's a win. Dude, that's a win.
Mark it down, Trage.
Dude, their starting quarterback gets hurt again. They bring in the little fat guy, and we win.
Little fat.
They don't have a quarterback.
Dude. Oh, my gosh. Isn't McNamara Cade their quarterback? That guy from Michigan?
It was, yes. But it ended up being the guy from
Wisconsin.
Deacon Hill.
Deacon Hill,
yeah.
So he's not a little fat guy. He's a big fat guy. But yeah.
He's so bad, dude. He's so bad.
Wait, did she say bad or fat?
Both.
Oh, okay. I was so confused. I mean, I was in. Okay. Next, we got 7-2 record.
Yep. 7-2. Next game at home again against Oregon.
Oh, that's a loss. That's an L.
There we go. Reasonable. Hey, they got that new coach over there, Dan Lanning. He's pretty good.
Dude, I think Oregon's going to be good. Okay.
All right, next game at Nebraska.
You questioned this one. You jumped on the Rutgers and Northwestern train, but you questioned this.
No, the Nebraska game is always so close. Like that one always is. That one's tough. I think we win.
There we go.
I think we win.
I like that. Pick.
We are now 8-3 overall. I feel like we're sniffing the college football playoff, but we still suck. So we're on the outside.
Yeah.
And the last game to end it at home for the Paul Bunyan Axe, Minnesota.
That's a win.
There we go.
That's a win.
9-3. To some questionable losses. Those were questionable. Losses.
That's fine. There's always questionable losses on Wisconsin's record. So true. I stand by it.
This is true. We got questionable wins and losses with your predictions there. I'll give you that one. We got both.
I'd rather have a questionable win than a questionable loss. So
That's
The
fair.
real question is, can I buy a ticket for the Alabama game for less than $196? That's the real question. That's what
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, worth a
Ohio-
shot.
Can you get Wisconsin sports on the go into that game for less than 190?
No, Ohio State last year was through us I think like 185, and we think Alabama's going to be like double that.
I think what's crazy is at USC is $221. Tickets are as low as that. $221.
That's crazy.
Wowza.
So
Well, it's LA. It's LA. That's what you do.
that's true. That's true.
You get that out there in Southern California. So, with that, anything else you want to add to the end of the show here, Bailey?
I don't think so. I just hope that wasn't like boring.
I thought we had a good time.
I had a good time. I had a great time.
You know, we were hoping for 20 minutes. We're over 40 minutes now. So I mean, we did good.
Let's go.
Did good. We rolled it. We rolled this. So we just wanted to thank you again for being on with us today and talking about some Wisconsin sports ticket sales. Definitely opened up our eyes.
Yeah, no, I had no idea how it worked either before I took this job, and it's like entering another world. It really is. It's crazy. This is the way everything works and the way people act, and I get bullied by the elderly on the daily. So, it's great. I love it.
It's like working in an old folks' home.
I was going to say, it's like working corporate right there.
Corporate.
Dude, it kind of is. It kind of is sometimes, but like I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
There we go. So with that, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trage. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow. But until then, deuces.